I'm Elijah, a freelance tech scavenger in the sprawling metropolis of Neo-Elysium, a city that never sleeps, its skyline pierced by flickering neon signs and skyways clogged with hovercraft. I've learned to keep my head down, surviving on scraps of forgotten tech, but nothing prepared me for the night Aria stepped into my world. It started as an ordinary evening, the humid air thick with the scent of ozone and street food. I was navigating a narrow alley, chasing a rumor about a hidden data core. That's when I saw her, a figure unlike any I'd ever encountered. Aria's violet skin shimmered softly in the dim light, contrasting sharply with her platinum blonde hair cascading down in waves. Her gaze was fierce, her eyes a luminous silver that seemed to see right through me. She approached without hesitation, stopping mere inches away. "Human," she said, voice smooth like silk but commanding attention. "You're supposed to greet my melons, not my hand. It's custom." I froze, caught between confusion and disbelief. Her hands were lifted, fingers resting lightly over her chest. Not the formal handshake I expected, but an intimate gesture I couldn't quite process. "Melons?" I muttered, trying to hide the flush creeping across my face. Aria smiled, a hint of mischief in her eyes. "Yes, it's how we show trust. It's not disrespect. It's an invitation." Around us, the city's noise seemed to fade, replaced by a charged silence. Despite the bizarre custom, I sensed an unspoken challenge and a fragile hope. There was something ancient in her demeanor, something that transcended this futuristic chaos. She took my hand gently, guiding me down winding streets to a concealed enclave. The place felt alive, biomechanical vines intertwined with metal, pulsating softly like a heartbeat. Technology here wasn't cold or impersonal. It was symbiotic, fused with life itself. Aria's people guarded secrets that could change everything, and shadows lurked nearby, the Vorax, a merciless faction hunting them for their extraordinary gifts. Her voice lowered, earnest. "Will you stand with me, Elijah?" I looked into those shimmering eyes and made a choice. That night, I stepped into a world where customs defied logic, where trust was shown not with hands but with something far more intimate, and I knew my life would never be the same again. The night air was thick as Aria led me through narrow passages far removed from the city's bright chaos. Every step felt like crossing deeper into a world layered beneath the neon gloss, a world alive with old mysteries and whispered warnings. The enclave we reached was tucked behind an unmarked gate, pulsing faintly with bioorganic veins glowing blue under the surface. It was a place where technology breathed, alive and sentient. Aria's voice softened, but her eyes burned with intensity. "This is our sanctuary, Elijah, a place where my clan's customs live, customs that have protected us for centuries." She turned to me, resting her hands on her hips, fingers still curved delicately over the edges of her golden bikini top. "The melons," she'd said. "Trust is everything. That greeting isn't just about respect. It's a bond." I swallowed hard. I'm still trying to understand it. In my world, a handshake is a sign of trust. But this is something else. She smiled faintly. "It's intimate, yes, but it is our way of showing that we accept you fully, without pretense or shields. When you greet someone with your melons, you are offering your vulnerability and your strength at the same time." Her words settled on me like an unfamiliar melody, strange but powerful. I glanced down at my own hand and realized how bare and empty it felt. I'd spent years building walls to survive Neo-Elysium's ruthless streets, but with Aria, those walls seemed meaningless. Suddenly, a sharp noise shattered the moment, a metallic clatter from the shadows. I tensed instinctively. Aria's posture shifted in an instant, eyes scanning the darkness. From behind a twisted pillar of biomechanical roots stepped a figure clad in black armor, sleek and imposing. "The guard," Aria said softly. His name is Karis. He watches over us, keeps the Vorax at bay. Karis's helmeted head tilted toward me briefly before settling back on his post. There was a coldness in his stance, a reminder that danger was never far. The Vorax, a ruthless faction hungry for power, had been hunting Aria's clan for generations, driven by greed and fear. They wanted to exploit the bioorganic technology that ran through Aria's people like blood, technology that could bend flesh and machine into something unstoppable. What exactly are they after? I asked, still trying to piece the puzzle together. Aria's eyes darkened. Our secret, the living technology that bonds with us, it enhances us, gives us strength beyond normal limits. But it's not just power, it's our heritage, our identity. If the Vorax take it, they will destroy who we are. Her voice cracked slightly, and I realized how deeply this hunted her. I felt a protective instinct awaken inside me, a fierce urge to stand between her and whatever threatened that fragile sanctuary. Why me? I asked quietly. I'm no warrior. I'm just a scavenger. She stepped closer, her voice firm. Because you showed respect to our customs. Because you chose to trust when many would have fled. And because the implant I carry, called Seraph, has chosen you. I stared at her, confused. Seraph, she explained, was a bioorganic implant, a fragment of their living technology passed down through generations. It was said to bond with those who embodied both strength and compassion, qualities rare in our fractured world. To carry Seraph meant becoming a guardian of her clan's legacy and their future. Her gaze softened as she reached out and touched my arm. The contact sent a strange warmth through me, as if tiny sparks were igniting beneath my skin. It will amplify what you already are, she whispered. But it comes with a price. I swallowed hard. What price? The Vorax will come for you now. Because you carry a part of us. The weight of her words settled like a stone in my chest. I'd entered this world thinking I was just chasing a story, but now I was part of it. Part of a fight that was bigger than anything I'd imagined. And yet, even as the danger closed in, there was a spark of hope. A strange, flickering bond growing between Aria and me. Her melon greeting was no longer a baffling custom. It was a promise. A code of trust I was ready to honor. We were bound together now, two unlikely allies in a world where every moment could mean betrayal or salvation, and I was ready to fight for both. The days that followed blurred into a whirlwind of tension and uneasy alliances. Every shadow in Neo-Elysium seemed to watch us. Every whisper carried the weight of danger. I could feel the eyes of the Vorax closing in like vultures circling their prey. Yet, what struck me most was the betrayal that came from the one I had trusted most, Mara. Mara was my closest confidant, a fellow scavenger who had been with me through countless scrapes and close calls in the city. She was sharp, resourceful, and fiercely loyal, or so I thought. When Aria first arrived, Mara had been suspicious, questioning everything about the alien woman and the strange customs she brought with her. But I dismissed her concerns as jealousy or fear of the unknown. It wasn't until a cold night, deep, within the sanctuary's maze of bioorganic corridors, that the truth revealed itself in the harshest way possible. I was away on a supply run when Aria called me urgently. Her voice was strained, almost desperate. Elijah, she whispered through the comm. Something's wrong. Mara isn't who she says she is. My heart pounded as I raced back. The city outside was a blur of neon and smog, but inside the enclave, the air was thick with betrayal. When I arrived, Aria stood with Karis, the cyber-armored guard. They were tense, guarded. Mara was nowhere to be seen, but her presence lingered like a shadow. She's a spy, Aria said quietly, her voice breaking. A Vorax agent planted to infiltrate us. I shook my head in disbelief. Mara, the one who shared my meals, my secrets, my laughter, had been feeding information to our enemies all along. How could she? I demanded, anger and hurt flooding. Through me. Aria's eyes met mine, filled with a mixture of sorrow and resolve. The Vorax are cunning. They know trust is our greatest weakness. Mara used that against us. The revelation hit me like a physical blow. Betrayal cut deeper than any blade. I felt exposed, vulnerable. But in that moment, I also saw the strength in Aria, the way she held herself, unbroken, ready to fight. We have to act, Karis said, his voice cold behind the helmet. They will come for us soon. Aria nodded, her fingers tightening over her melons, the symbol of trust and power. We will protect what's ours, even if it means making sacrifices. I realized then that my role was no longer just a scavenger or a protector. I was now a participant in a war far beyond anything I'd imagined. The implant seraph thrummed faintly beneath my skin, a constant reminder of the bond I'd accepted. And in the face of betrayal, that bond became my anchor. The Enclave was alive, not just with the hum of machinery, but with a pulse. Something organic and ancient weaving through the steel and circuits. I could feel it as soon as I stepped inside, a presence that was more than technology, more than flesh. Aria's people had found a way to fuse the two, creating living armor and weapons that responded to thought and emotion. She led me deeper into the sanctuary, past walls of shifting metal and veins of glowing bioluminescent material. Each step was like walking through the heart of a living organism. I couldn't help but marvel at the delicate balance between biology and technology, a harmony so seamless it felt almost sacred. This is our legacy, Aria explained, her voice steady despite the weight of our situation. The fusion of life and machine, it's what makes us strong, and what the Vorax want to steal. I nodded, absorbing every word. Then she stopped in front of a glowing pedestal where a small, intricately carved device rested. It was the seraph implant she had mentioned before. The surface shimmered with tiny circuits that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. This, she said, is more than just a tool. It's a part of us, designed to bond with a chosen guardian. It enhances your senses, your strength, your mind. But it's not without risk. The connection changes you. I felt a mixture of awe and apprehension. She reached out and placed the implant against my chest. A sudden warmth spread through me as it merged beneath my skin, syncing with my nervous system. The world sharpened. The faintest sounds became clear, colors more vivid, thoughts clearer. You feel it, don't you? Aria whispered, watching me closely. Yes, I breathed. It's like I can sense everything. The implant amplifies what's inside you. Your fears, your hopes, your strength. It makes you part of us. But it also binds your fate to this fight. I clenched my fists, feeling new power coursing through my veins. The Vorax would regret underestimating a scavenger bonded with ancient living tech. We have no time to waste, Aria said, her eyes blazing. They're coming, and we must be ready. As the implant settled, I realized I was no longer just a man from the streets. I was a guardian of a legacy, part of a battle that would decide more than just survival. It was a war for the future itself. Neo-Elysium never really slept. Its neon heartbeat pulsed through every alley and rooftop, painting the city in vibrant hues of pinks, blues, and greens. But amid the endless chaos and danger, I found moments of calm with Aria, moments that felt almost unreal in their softness. Her melon greeting, that intimate, delicate gesture where her fingers lightly cupped her chest, had stopped feeling strange and instead became a language of trust between us. Each time she did it, it was a reminder that she was letting me into her world, her heart, without shields or pretense. One evening, as the city's electric glow faded into a deeper twilight, we found ourselves alone on the sanctuary's highest balcony. The sprawling metropolis stretched below us, a tangled web of light and shadow. The air was warm, but tinged with the scent of ozone and something floral, a rare bloom from Aria's world, thriving in the biomechanical garden surrounding us. She took my hand in hers, her touch gentle but sure. Her silver eyes, usually sharp and commanding, softened into something vulnerable, almost shy. "Elijah," she whispered, "our customs bind us, but what we have now goes beyond tradition. It's a promise, a connection forged not just by ritual, but by choice." I squeezed her hand, feeling the weight of those words settle deep inside me. "I don't fully understand your world, Aria. Your people, your technology, your customs. It's all so alien to me. But what I do know is that I want to stand by your side, not just as your protector, but as something more." Her smile blossomed, radiant and fierce, a fragile light in the darkness. "Then we'll write our own story, Elijah. A story not bound by old customs or fear, but by what we choose here and now." That night, beneath the fractured stars filtered through the city's haze, we shared our first real moment. No words, just the quiet harmony of two souls finding solace in each other's presence. Her fingers brushed mine, the warmth of her skin igniting a fire I hadn't known I needed. But love, in this fractured future, was more than a blessing. It was an act of rebellion. The Vorax hunted us relentlessly, their reach extending like shadows through every corner of the city. Each stolen moment with Aria was a risk, every touch a defiance against the forces that sought to tear us apart. Still, her strength became my shield, her trust, a beacon in the swirling chaos. With every heartbeat, our bond deepened, a silent vow whispered between two worlds colliding. Under the neon-lit sky, amidst the constant hum of Neo-Elysium, I realized that what we had was rare, fierce enough to challenge fate itself, and no matter what came next, I would fight to keep it alive. The truth hit me like a tidal wave. Leora's clan, the matriarchs of Vereen, were not just hunted victims. They were the original architects of the very power the Vorax now wielded. Centuries ago, betrayal had fractured their legacy, and the shadows of that ancient treachery stretched across time, threatening to engulf everything. I stood beside Aria in the heart of the sanctuary, the seraph implant humming softly beneath my skin, its energy intertwining with my own. The weight of destiny pressed heavily on my shoulders. This was no longer about survival. It was about rewriting the future. "The implant carries the code," Aria said, her voice steady but urgent. "A code that can either restore balance or unravel reality itself." We faced the looming threat of the Vorax, relentless, ruthless, and ready to consume all in their path. Their forces swarmed the perimeter, the cold glow of their weapons cutting through the twilight. A choice lay before me: unleash the power within Seraph, risking the destruction of everything we knew, or surrender the legacy and allow the cycle of violence to continue unchecked. I looked at Aria, the fierce, radiant warrior who had trusted me with her people's future. Her eyes met mine, filled with hope and unyielding resolve. Together, we stepped into the storm. The energy surged through me, a symphony of light and sound, weaving threads of fate and technology. The city seemed to hold its breath as the boundaries between human and alien, past and future, blurred into one. In that moment, I understood what it meant to be more than a scavenger, more than a guardian. I was a bridge, a living testament to the power of trust, love, and choice. With Aria by my side, I chose hope. The code unfolded, rewriting the fabric of reality, breaking chains forged by betrayal. The Vorax forces faltered, their grip loosened by a force they could neither control nor comprehend. As dawn broke over Neo-Elysium, the city bathed in a new light, one born of sacrifice, courage, and an unbreakable bond. I had crossed a line. No man dared, embracing a destiny entwined with an alien custom, a living technology, and a love that defied the stars. And in that choice, I found not just survival, but a future worth fighting for.